Hello everyone, welcome to your PD Education. So today we are going to some important questions that are related to electromagnetic field theory, and they are mostly asked in the ISRO examination. See, basically if I am talking about this ISRO exam, right, last year exam is little bit, you can say, the conceptual exam. There will be no calculative part, but if you go for the past exam of ISRO, the last year exam is you can say the easiest exam of ISRO. So basically you can't imagine that ISRO will ask the questions that are of the level of BL, right? They are difficult level than BL, right? If you analyze the past paper, you can see that thing that ISRO will ask mostly the difficult questions, right? Some questions are easy, but most of the questions are difficult, right? So today we are going to discuss some important questions that are important for ISRO exam, right? If you want to prepare for this ISRO exam, we already start your PDI is already start the classes for this ISRO. You can join our module. One more thing I have to mention here, that I already make one video that is a detailed solution of the past exam of 2023, and you can check that, where I discuss each and every question in detail, and you also get that PDF of that solution, right? The electric field, let's start this this thing, that is electric field in a free space region is given by this. Then the value of beta, see here, the free space means that is the vacuum. Inside the vacuum, what is the phase velocity? That is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. If you compare this equation, with the standard equation, that is E naught cos of omega t minus beta x a y cap. So when you compare these two equations, you got that omega is 10 raised to power 8, right? And Vp, that is the phase velocity inside the free space. So what will be the value of beta? Omega upon Vp. That is the formula for beta you can use here. So omega, which we calculated from the given equation, that will be 10 raised to power 8 divided by 3 into 10 raised to power 8, so that is 1 by 3. So when you do this, that will become 0.333. that is the answer is in radian per meter. What is the unit of beta? That is radian per meter, right? Next question, these are the important question, right? Conceptual question. Sometimes they ask, which one of the following is a measure of depth of the depth to which the EM wave can penetrate the medium? See, basically when we talk about this thing, how much depth an EM wave will penetrate through a medium, that will be defined by skin depth of penetration, right? So what will be the answer for this question? That is skin depth. And what is the definition of skin depth? Skin depth is the measure of depth at which the amplitude of an EM wave will decay or reduce to 36.8% of its initial value. And what will be the formula for this skin depth? Delta is equals to 1 upon alpha, that is 1 upon under root of pi f mu sigma, right? Next question. Yeah, this is also important question. The wave is incident at an angle of 30 degree air to Teflon, right? Let us take, this is the boundary that is making a 30 degree angle like this, right? Incident, this is air, this is Teflon, and Teflon epsilon r is given to you 2.1, and air epsilon r we already know that will be 1, epsilon r1, epsilon r2. So what is asking? Angle of transmission. So we can use the Snell's law. Snell's law states that sine of theta transmitted multiply by under root of epsilon r2 is equals to sine of theta I multiply by under root of epsilon r1, right? When you solve it, you will got this equation. You will replace the value of epsilon r2 here 2.1, and the incidence angle you will got the transmission angle. Transmission angle is going to be sine of theta t. That is going to be 0.345, and not degree, that is the value, right? And we want to calculate this theta angle. He is giving you answer 30 degree. 30 degree is not possible, right? 45 degree is 1 by root 2, that is also not possible. At 30 degree we got 0.5 value of sine, right? At 45 we got 0.75, right? So basically we got the value 0.345, which is lying less than 0.5 because sine is increasing up to 20 degrees. So what we can say, that answer is 20.18. How you can tackle these answers? Because this is the calculator is not allowed in this exam, so how you can tackle that, which option is correct? You have to think about this. That, see, basically he put every options, right? Like 30 degree, 45 degree, 50 degree, only one option is there, that is 20.18, because at 30 degree the sine value is 1 by 2, right? After this the sine is increasing up to 1 by root 2, then 3 by root 2, like that, and at 90 degree it will go to the 1. So it means the value of the angle, if it is 0.345, the value of the angle is less than 30 degree, right? There is only one option that is less than 30 degree, 20.18 degree. So think about like this if you are going for the options, right? Because it is not possible to calculate the accurate value inside the exam, because calculator is not allowed. How you can calculate the accurate value? You have to be predict that value. Some students says that in this exam if calculator is not allowed, how I can find this correct value? They are not, they are putting the option like that, that you can predict from the options. You have to think like that, right? A 75 ohm transmission line is first short circuit, first short terminated, and the minima is noted, right, at the noted. When the short is replaced by a resistive load, minima located are not altered. Okay, minima location is not altered. The VSWR is measured by 3, then the RL will be. So VSWR is given to you, we have to calculate the RL, right? So it means the first thing from the VSWR, we know that the VSWR is equals to what? 1 plus mode of reflection coefficient divided by 1 minus mode of reflection coefficient. So we can calculate the magnitude of reflection coefficient, that will be VSWR minus 1 divided by VSWR plus 1, and VSWR is how much? That is 3. 3 minus 1, that is 2 divided by 4. So we got that magnitude of reflection coefficient is 1 by 2. So basically reflection coefficient can have two values, plus minus 1 by 2. So we have to choose which value it will take, right? So he says that at the load end there will be a minima. When you have the minima at the load end, it's meaning that reflection coefficient is negative, right? We have to choose the negative value of that reflection coefficient. This option is not correct, right? I think so. The reflection coefficient should be negative, because at the load end we have the minima. When we have the maxima at the load end, reflection coefficient is positive, right? So that will be ZL minus 75 divided by ZL plus 75 into is equals to 1 by minus 1 by 2, and you have to multiply there. You will got that twice of ZL minus 150 is equals to minus ZL minus 75. So ZL will be added, 3 ZL is equals to 75. So ZL is 75 by 3, around 25. Yeah, that's the correct answer for this question, not C. That will be A, right? Because at the load end he says that minima is occurred, then reflection coefficient will be negative. A traveling wave has the magnitude of 100 volt. In the transmission line of a surge impedance of 400 ohm, passing will be the magnitude of the wave while traveling in the cable, right? So what is happen? First we have to calculate the reflection coefficient of that one. That will be what? This 400 reflection coefficient is 400 ZL minus Z naught. The characteristic impedance is 50 divided by 400 plus 50, that is going to be 7 by 9. And traveling wave magnitude, we have to calculate the 1 minus the reflection coefficient, transmission coefficient, and then you have to multiply that transmission coefficient with the input voltage. You will go to the transmitted voltage, that will be a 20 volt voltage is here, right? Okay. A long transmission line is terminated at its characteristic impedance. When a transmission line is terminated at its characteristic impedance, your ZL is equals to the Z naught and your reflection coefficient will be 0. So reflected amplitude will be 0. Only incident wave but no reflected wave. Next question. The wavelength of an electromagnetic wave in a waveguide is, see, inside the waveguide, if we go for the phase velocity VPI inside the waveguide is different from the wave, right? Okay, that is inversely proportional to the phase velocity greater than the free space velocity, right? This question is already asked in last year ISRO exam. They asked that what is happened due to the wavelength. Wavelength is going to be lambda divided by under root of 1 minus fc upon f whole square. This is the wavelength inside the waveguide. So what we can say, it is greater than the free space wavelength because the input frequency f is greater than fc. What it's meaning? This value is coming out to be less than 1. When you subtract something from 1 less than 1, it means that value is also going to be less than 1. When you take the square root, let us take it, that value is 0.64. When you take this square root, that will be 0.8 and your value is going to be 10 divided by 8 times lambda. It means the value will increase. So inside the waveguide, the wavelength is increasing, right? Remember that thing. The wave propagated in good dielectric, right? Attenuation factor alpha and phase velocity. See, basically when your sigma upon omega epsilon is less than 1, yeah, then your alpha is sigma mu upon epsilon, beta is omega mu under root of mu epsilon. These are the formula. Similarly, you can memorize the formula for the good conducting medium, dielectric medium, perfect dielectric medium, like that. This is a good dielectric medium, right? These are the some questions from the satellite communications, right? Transmission of a signal between the earth station and satellite is like a line of sight communication, because this is your satellite here and your earth station is here. So we have to send a signal to satellite and satellite will send back a signal to the earth station. So we can say that there is no obstacle between these two. That communication is called as what? Line of sight communication, right? Next, monitoring the speed of moving vehicle, which of the following radar technique is mostly preferred? See, whenever your vehicle is moving, we are generally use the Doppler radar. That will based on Doppler effect. When one object is moving, then the frequency which is coming from that object will be changed. If it is coming towards us, the frequency increase. If it is going away from us, that frequency will decrease. That will depend on the Doppler effect, and that is the Doppler radar, right? Next, pulse compensation radar transmitting and encoding pulse having the frequency creeping from 995 to 1005 megahertz, centered around 1 gigahertz. What should be the range resolution capability of this radar? So range resolution capability of a radar, C upon 2I is delta f. Delta f is frequency deviation, that is 10 megahertz, because that is 100.5 minus 95, that will be 10 megahertz. C is 3 into 10 raised to power 8. When you replace all these things, that will be 15 meter, right? Next question. Antenna reciprocity is used in which of the following? Basically, that is used in radio broadcasting. Antenna reciprocity implies that antenna work equally well as transmitter or receiver. It is used in radio broadcasting, right? Next is the relation between the power P and the speed N of a propeller in a ship propulsion system is given by, that will be directly proportional to the N to the power 3, like that, right? Next thing is that if r is the radius of a circular orbit, then the orbital period of the satellite is directly proportional. That is the formula for the time period. T square is equals to 4 pi square gm into r cube. So what we can say, T square is directly proportional to r cube. T is directly proportional to r to the power 3 by 2. So what we can say, r to the power 3 by 2. An antenna has a maximum radiation intensity is given to you, efficiency is given to you, input power is given to you. You have to calculate the directive gain. So from this given information, efficiency is 0.95, 0.9, 90% means 0.9. So first we calculate the power radiated, that will be efficiency into input power, that is 0.36 power, that is power radiated, and directivity is 4 pi u maximum divided by power radiated, and u maximum you can replace 0.5, power radiated 0.36, that is 8.73, right? If you are converting into linear unit, that will be 97, and if you convert it into dB, that is 9.87 dB. Right, that is 9.87 dB. The Hertzian dipole of length L less than lambda radiate a power P in free space. The current amplitude is double. How does the radiated power change? See, power is directly proportional to I square. If you double the current, then power will be 4 times, right? Answer will be quadruple. The radiation resistance of a small dipole antenna of length L is equals to lambda by 50, that will be 80 pi square 1 upon lambda whole square, right? Like that you calculated it, that is mostly 0.5. See, always remember these two option is not possible in Hertzian dipole antenna. Hertzian dipole antenna is having radiation resistance very small, right? That is around 0.5, 0.6, 1, like that, right? So that option is correct. So these are the some important questions which may be helpful for your ISRO exam. See, Yourpedia is already giving the classes for this ISRO exam. If you want to continue, you can join the Yourpedia education. Thank you.